This week on TGC News, a pistol brace for your bicep, the M&P2.0 compact in 45, a pistol cow bullpup, and a rifle to bring down the Scar 17. Kel-Tec offers some of the most interesting and innovative firearms in recent memory. Whether you're into bullpup rifles like the RDB or RFB, or maybe the KSG bullpup shotgun in short or gigantic configuration. Or maybe you just want to plink around with some pistol caliber stuff like the Sub 2000 or PF9. They make something affordable for everyone. To learn more, check out keltecweapons.com. Welcome back to another episode of TGC News, gun news you actually care about. My name is Jon Patton. If you're watching this from anywhere inside the continental United States, smash that like button. Isn't it like one like equals one respect, right? Something like that. First up this week is a new product that further reinforces the fact that the ATF and their arbitrary regulation of AR pistols is one of the most ridiculous things we've seen in the gun industry in the last 20 years. This is the Bicep Brace, and it's made by a guy named Heston Kent. He's been working on this for a year and a half and even has his very own ATF approval letter. It is exactly what you think it is, a brace that mounts over the carbine buffer tube on any AR-15, angles downward, and has a padded section that contacts your bicep. My first impression with this was, why the heck do we need this? What are we doing with this thing? Then I stopped and said to myself, dude, this is thinking outside the box of what we know currently, and that should be applauded. I actually talked to Heston and asked about where this came from. He said he was looking for the next best way to stabilize an AR pistol after, of course, using your shoulder, and this is where he ended up. He said he did try a chest brace variant, but found that the bicep was a much more universal place, being that body types vary so much in the chest area. Besides contacting the bicep, the brace also folds up for storage, which is a neat feature, and although this is not a full production version yet, it is still very much a prototype, the testing video does look pretty promising. I think with some further refinements, this could be a really neat product overall. Of course, if the price is right. I get questions all the time about how to get into the gun industry, and my usual response is go work at a gun store and work your way up from there, because you can learn a lot doing that. But this is one of the other ways you could do it. Design something interesting and potentially useful. I'm still not 100% sold on the concept of bracing a gun on my bicep, especially if the thing has big recoil, but this is an interesting concept at its very least. What do you guys think of this? If it ever comes to market, would you consider grabbing one, or would you rather stick with something tried and true like the SB tactical braces? Let me know in the comments. All right, are you guys ready? The rest of the show is going to be rapid fire. There are so many things to cover this week, I want to try and hit them all. Here we go. Smith & Wesson has announced yet another expansion to the M&P 2.0 lineup, this time adding a 45 compact. One round to the ground, here we come.
Hasta la vista.
But seriously, I think it's awesome to see Big Blue continuing to add products to the 2.0 lineup. The interesting thing about this one is that it holds as many rounds of 45 as my full-size HK45, 10+1, and it only weighs in at about an ounce more than the 9mm. That is really cool. MSRP there will be $569. Next up, Anderson Manufacturing is stepping into a new market. Love them or hate them, they offer a bunch of products at really affordable pricing, and this one is no different. It's called the Anderson Manufacturing Advanced Micro Dot with removable base and rotary knob. I've talked about this before, but I love the fact that red dot optics are so freaking affordable right now, and most are decent quality. 704 Tactical actually has a video on this very one right now, and he's giving it a thumbs up at its pricing of $155 with the mount. Link in the description for that video. Let's keep things moving with a couple new shotguns, shall we? Browning is reintroducing a classic called the Satori White Lightning. This is a classic over under 12 gauge with either 26 or 28 inch barrels, and if it's anything like their other shotguns, it will be outstanding. The name White Lightning comes from the silver receiver. Pricing on that isn't cheap, but there definitely is a ton of value for the guy that can afford it. $26.69 is the MSRP on that one. Winchester also announced a new version of their SX4 semi-auto shotguns. This one is called the SX4 Cantilever Buck, and it's aimed at guys that want a fully rifled semi-auto slug gun. You don't see a lot of slug guns that are semi-auto on the market, so I'm excited to see how this one performs. If it's any bit as accurate as the Savage 220 or 212, then they have a solid gun on their hands. Pricing for that is $959. You guys tired yet? No? All right, let's keep rolling. Next up is the CZ Bren 2. My understanding is that this is the continued evolution of the Bren lineup. Duh. And a few content creators were actually at the CZ factory overseas and got to get their hands on a couple of these things. It looks like there will be a 5.56, 7.62 by 39, and 7.62 by 51 variant. And I gotta be honest, guys, if they are anything like the Bren 805 that I have right now, this is going to be awesome. I'm particularly excited about the 7.62 by 51 version because I think it will be a direct competitor for the SCAR 17. And because FN is refusing to get those into the country in reasonable numbers and you can barely find them in stock anywhere, this could be a fantastic alternative to that. There is no word on pricing yet, but I suspect we'll know more in the coming weeks as the content from that visit comes out. Military Arms and Polinar Tactical, I am looking at you. And last but definitely not least is a product from CZ and Manticore Arms. They collaborated on this one. It was announced at the annual bullpup shoot this past weekend, and you guessed it, it's a bullpup. It's actually a conversion kit for the CZ Scorpion. Essentially, you would take the internals out of your Scorpion and drop them into this new chassis. There's no word on pricing yet, but knowing Manticore, it will be pretty reasonable. Overall length would be about 26 inches, and it'll weigh in at about 7.5 pounds overall. My biggest concern with any bullpup is the trigger. If they get that right on this, then it will be a really neat setup. Who knows? Maybe we'll see that as like a complete gun from CZ one day. You definitely don't see a ton of pistol caliber bullpups on the market, so I'm excited to see how this goes. Neomag offers a slick solution to discreetly carrying a spare magazine securely in your pocket. Available in small, medium, and large to hold anything from 380 to 10 mil. Also now available are the extended clip versions, which allow you to carry deeper in your pocket or carry your spare mag with an extension. Utilizing strong neodymium magnets, a steel backer, and titanium clips, these things are built to last. To get 10% off your order over at theneomag.com, use the code TGC 2018. That was a ton of stuff. It's time now for Friendly Fire, the segment where I answer your questions from all over social media. This time, our questions are coming from the TGC Nation Facebook group, which you should totally join. First up, Austin Fink says, what are your thoughts on the 5.7 by 28 round, and would it be dead if not for the P90? Well, it exists because of the P90. I think in the civilian market, it would be dead if it wasn't for the 5.7 pistol. I would love to see more proliferation of the 5.7 cartridge into the market, but FN would have to get behind that in a big way and convince other manufacturers to chamber it, which is not exactly a small task for a specialty round like that. Imagine a 1022 in 5.7. Yeah, that would be cool. Next, Jim Federline says, why haven't any companies developed a home defense shotgun designed specifically for the Aguila mini shells? The answer is actually kind of lame, but it's a very simple one. The reason is because no other company is making mini shells. Let's say Aguila closed up shop, went out of business or decided they didn't want to make those anymore. Those guns would then be useless without the correct ammunition. That, and I think the market would need to make a request for that on a huge scale for a company to jump into that with R&D and whatnot. I would love to see it, but I think it could be a while before any of that happens. I just don't think the mini shells are in that high of demand because I think a lot of guys look at them as a novelty. Our question of the week and winner of a Falcor Defense hat and shirt, Alexandra Phillipson, says, for someone who is new to building her first AR-15, what advice would you give for the process? That's a great question. The number one thing is take your time. It's not a race. Building an AR gives you a better understanding of how the gun works as a whole, so take your time and try to understand it. After that, make sure you have a good set of punches and a good non-marring hammer. There are also a bunch of specialty tools out there for AR builds, some of which are better than others. I could spend an entire episode talking about those, but I think it's important to not jump in full on the specialty tools until you have a grasp of what you're really doing. Use tape on the side of the receiver when you install the bolt catch, and get yourself a few spare detents and springs. You're going to lose them at some point, so rather than be pissed when that happens and have to wait after you order some, get some ahead of time and you'll be prepared. I know that's a lot to absorb, but I hope it helps. My friendly fire question to you guys this week: when it comes to the AR-15, would you rather build your own or buy it from a reputable manufacturer? Drop your answer down in the comments, and hey, if you want your question answered right here on TGC News, send it to me on one of our many social media outlets. And that is it for this week's show, guys. If you disliked it, hit that button. If you liked it, hit like, get subscribed, and consider supporting us via the links in the video description. We have a new Amazon affiliate store, as well as a link to purchase cool shirts just like this one, and of course, links to find us all over your favorite social media platforms. And as always, thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon. Isn't cheap, but there definitely is a ton of value for guys that can afford it. My understanding is that this is the continued evolution. Excuse me. You definitely don't see a ton of pistol caliber bullpup.
The shirts worn in today's video on The Gun Collective have been provided by Patriot Patch. Closed captions have also been brought to you by Patriot Patch Company. Be sure to click the link in the video description to check out all of their great products, including their cleaning mats.